Hello friends and welcome to Edupedia World Videos. This is the course Basics of Programming in C language, and this is the continuation video of the switch case conditional statement that we had done earlier. In the earlier program we had made a basic menu for addition, calculation or subtraction. That means the basic calculator program using switch case. Okay, so we had seen that this particular program was working well, but it had a small error that in case the user chooses the option for division, okay, and in case of while entering the numbers he enters the second number as 0, so what would it result in will be division by 0, because we have assumed that division would be number 1 divided by number 2, which can be seen over here in our formula. What we have done is we have by default assumed that user will divide number 1 by number 2, and number 2, if the value of number 2 entered by user is 0, in that case our program will terminate, giving an illegal exception, okay, because division by 0, it is not possible and it is not supported by the compiler. Okay, so how to avoid such kinds of situations in your daily life programming? Whenever you will be creating various projects, you will encounter such kind of programs, and such kind of situations will always be there. So to avoid illegal termination of your program, you have to put in certain checks. So what kind of checks these could be? Like, we want this check only in case of division, right? So we will check in this case for division, which is either capital D or small d. We will put a check that first thing is that number 2 should be greater than 0. It should not be equal to 0. So if it is greater than 0, then we will store the result of division of the two numbers inside this variable, okay, and in case the number 2 is not greater than 0, okay, or see, greater than 0 would work in case of a positive number only, but the number can be a negative number also, okay. So what we can do is, it should not be greater than 0, or we can keep it as not equal to 0, okay. So in case the number 2 is not equal to 0, then it will come into this particular block and execute this statement, result is equal to number 1 divided by number 2. In the case else, if the number is equal to 0, then we will print a message to the user that would say division by 0, or let us write in alphabetic characters, division by 0 is not supported. Okay, so let us see now our logic works or not. First of all, let us go to file and save our program. Okay, then we will build our program. So once it is built, it will let us show. Actually the logs are not coming, so I'll just change the perspective to default. Okay, so here our logs are there and it is saying that there are no errors in the compilation of the program. So let us try and run this program. Okay, it is executing and it will first display the menu. We will be selecting the option for division, that is either capital D or small d. Okay, now let us enter two numbers and we will keep the second number as 0. So 98 and 0. Okay, so let us see. Okay, so now it did not terminate. Our program did not terminate, actually handled the situation, and it says that division by 0 is not supported. Okay, so the result of operation is 0. That got printed only because the value of result had already been is already initialized to 0. So when we came over here at this point, okay, and after that it printed the result of operation is percentage d result. So the value of result was 0, so it printed this. But in case we want to avoid printing this, because here we have already printed that division is not supported by 0, so we do not need to print the result variable. So what we have to do is, we have to either we can use return statement, return 0. Okay, so this would, what would this do? This would actually make the main program return from there itself, from to use the statement exit. Okay, exit, and with exit also you have to specify a particular return code. Okay, when your program exits, it always returns a particular value to the operating system, which is a numeric value, and you can that specify that value either in your return statement of the main program or in the exit function using the arguments to the exit function. So let us now try and first save it and build this particular program. Okay, it is giving me some error. It is rather giving me a warning that exit is implicitly declared, so we need to include certain header file in which the function exit is there. Okay, so the exit function is actually declared inside your header file stdlib.h, which is the standard library header file for C, stdlib.h. Okay, this header file is for the standard C library and it contains certain functions. So to check out whether which all functions are there in this particular library, you can always refer to the documentation available on the internet. Okay, and you will come to know about the functions that are stored over here inside this library. Okay, now what we will do is, we will also, let us put some new line characters over here so that the output is more legible. Okay, so it says exit 0. So after printing division by 0 is not supported, our program should actually exit. So that is what we want to achieve. Let us save it and now let us try to build it. So we should not see this warning now onwards. Okay, see. Okay, so no warnings. Our program is built with 0 warnings and 0 errors. Let us try and execute it, and this time also we will choose the division option and we will enter the second number as 0. So let me enter the second number as 0. Okay, so our program is displaying division by 0 is not supported and it has exited there itself. So it has not gone beyond the switch statement. Okay, it has not gone beyond the switch statement over here and it has exited from this particular place itself and straight away printed this value but not printed this value. Okay, the result of the operation was coming earlier, but now it has not come because we have put an exit over here. Okay, so this was advanced learning of the switch case statement, in which we have also added some conditional checks. Okay, so these kinds of checks would be useful when you build up your actual programs, real life programs. So to include such kind of checks, it will be an additional advantage. It will make your program more user friendly and more understandable by the user. Okay, and it will reduce the chances of error, that will error made by the user while using your program. Okay, so I hope whatever we did in this video was clearly understood by you, and you continue to watch the course Basics of Programming in C language. Thank you.